Hi guys, welcome to our channel. I'm James.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are in
Kansas City.
Kansas City is not only known for its barbecue, but it's also known for jazz. During the 20s, 30s, and 40s, Kansas City was the happening spot for jazz.
18th and Vine is a historic area of Kansas City. During the end of the 1800s, many African Americans moved to this area, and by the 1920s, it was a thriving community. During Prohibition, this area became a hub of entertainment known for its Kansas City jazz. Many great jazz musicians played in the 18th and Vine, including Louis Armstrong, Kansas City natives Count Basie, Charlie Bird Parker, and many more.
Today we'll be visiting some history in Kansas City on 18th and Vine.
18th and Vine is the historic jazz district here in Kansas City, and we'll be going to the Jazz Museum.
We have just got to 18th and Vine, which is the heart of the jazz district here in Kansas City. And on this street corner, we have the Blue Room, which is famous for playing jazz on the weekends. And right in front of the Blue Room is this awesome Jazz Walk of Fame, which has inducted all of the famous jazz musicians that have made their mark here in Kansas City and impacted jazz in the world.
After looking at the many famous musicians inducted in the Walk of Fame, we continued walking through the Jazz District. We passed by the Gem Theater, which was a silent movie palace serving the Kansas City African American population back in the early 1900s. We then admired the beautiful murals painted in the area representing the jazz and baseball history of Kansas City. There was also this amazing statue remembering the great jazz musician Charlie Bird Parker. After walking around the Jazz District for a bit, we are quite hungry, so we're gonna head to get some famous Kansas City barbecue.
That's right, lucky for us, right outside the Jazz District is the original Arthur Bryants, which is one of the most famous places to get Kansas City barbecue.
As you walk into Arthur Bryant's, you'll notice the classic red chairs and square tables. And just like most barbecue restaurants in Kansas City, it is packed during lunch hours. All throughout the restaurant, you can learn more about the history of Arthur Bryant's and see the many awards they've won throughout the year. When you order your food, you have to carry a tray to your table, so we didn't manage to get a video of us carrying the food as our hands were too full.
I got the 3B sandwich and Kelly got the 18th and Vine specialty sandwich. On my sandwich we have burnt ends and a crispy onion ring, and of course I got a bunch of pickles to add on top. At all barbecue restaurants you go to in Kansas City, they will give you a variety of barbecue sauces that you can put on your barbecue meats. We have some rich and spicy, sweet heat, and their original, or the President's Choice. My favorite one so far, I think, is going to be the rich and spicy. Burnt end sandwich with pickles and the onion ring. Can't go wrong.
I have the 18th and Vine sandwich, which is a pulled pork with coleslaw on top. I've added pickles and the sweet heat sandwich. Let's try it. Oh god, that's so good. Oh yeah. Sweet heat gives it a nice tangy flavor. Barbecue's not supposed to make you look pretty. I pretty much finished all my food. The coleslaw gives a nice sweet flavor, and then you add the sauce. You can pick whatever you want. The sweet one gives a nice little spice to it. The pulled pork, it is super tender, so it melts in your mouth. The fries are greasy. Sandwich is great. You should definitely try to come to Arthur Bryant's if you're ever in Kansas City.
We just finished our meal and it was fantastic. Arthur Bryant's is one of the original barbecue restaurants in Kansas City and can trace its roots back all the way to Henry Perry, the original Kansas City barbecue pioneer. Arthur Bryant's was also the place to first popularize burnt ends, which is the burnt, fatty part of a brisket. They would cut it up and serve it to people as they were waiting in line to go inside and buy some barbecue meats. And now is one of the most popular Kansas City barbecue dishes.
We have just finished our lunch at Arthur Bryant's, and now we are heading to the Jazz Museum here in Kansas City to learn more about the history of the jazz culture here. The Jazz Museum is located right in the center of the Jazz District. You can purchase your tickets for $10, but you can also buy a combo ticket for $15 that will let you get into the Negro League Baseball Museum as well as the Jazz Museum. In the lobby, you can learn more about the African American history in the world as well as in Kansas City. You can then watch a short film to learn more about the history of 18th and Vine.
Kansas City provided probably most of the people who would provide the tributaries into modern jazz.
Inside the Jazz Museum, you'll learn the history of famous jazz musicians, discover the different elements that go into jazz, and immerse yourself in the music and history by listening to the many audios throughout. We walked through the Jazz Museum for about 30 to 40 minutes. Then we went into the Negro League Baseball Museum. Inside the museum, you'll be able to read about the history of the Negro Leagues that began in Kansas City in the 1920s. Negro League Baseball began because racism and Jim Crow forced African American players out of the teams they were already on. The Kansas City Monarchs were so popular that the black churches would move their Sunday service back an hour so fans could attend the games, and fans would leave church to head to the ballpark dressed to the nines. This is how the tradition Dressed to the Nines was born during the annual Royals game, Salute to the Negro Leagues. We just finished walking around the museums here at 18th and Vine. We went to both the American Jazz Museum as well as the Negro League Baseball Museum. These museums give a great look into the African American history all around America as well as here in Kansas City. We just finished walking around the 18th and Vine Jazz District, and now we are heading to Messenger Coffee in the Crossroads to get a mid-afternoon drink and just relax for a bit. We just finished our coffee and tea to give ourselves a little boost, and now we are going to drive to the brewery Imperial to get some drinks and then maybe head for dinner, because tonight we are going to a jazz bar and we're going to watch some live jazz here in Kansas City and get some cocktails.
Tonight's plan is to go watch some live jazz, but before we do that, we're taking a pit stop at Brewery Imperial to drink some beer and to get dinner. We've already ordered some beers. We got their Pilsner, a Kolsch, a Shanty, and then a Hazy IPA. We'll be drinking some beer and getting dinner until our jazz show tonight. Cheers. Kolsch.
That one's refreshing. We are now finishing our evening off at the Green Lady Lounge. It is a small little shop here on 18th and Grand, and you can see it's this cute little place.
We had a great time at the Green Lady Lounge, and we are now back at our car and ready to go home.
We hope you enjoyed learning more about the jazz history here in Kansas City, and if you did, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!
See ya!